Hey YouTube. So I've got another little update, I guess. These are my red tiger motoguensis, mom and dad. It's my breeding pair. They've got some babies swimming around in there. I'm not really doing much with this. I'm just letting them do their thing. My big thing I've been on lately is I'm trying to get into planted aquariums. So I set up this 10-gallon, I believe I mentioned it in my last video. I've got the Fluval 2.0 light here, which is pretty cool. You use an app on your phone to change when the light turns on, when it turns off. You can set it to dim on and off. Like it's pretty cool. So I've got that all set up. I've got this canister filter. I don't know what size it is. I think it's rated for a 30 or a 60 gallon. I'm not really sure. It's way too big for this little 10-gallon tank. Problem is, the seal is leaking. So it's just ever so slightly dripping out water. So I'm going to order a new seal for it. But right now it's going to sit in a 5-gallon bucket because, you know, solutions, right? I did get a bunch of plants in here though. So this is my Dwarf, what was it? Dwarf Sedge, I believe. And then I got these. They look pretty cool. They've got the roots kind of grow out all over that plant. I liked the green and red colors. I think it's pretty interesting looking. So I put a bunch of Dwarf Sedge around, and then that one with the longer leaves, there's another one right there with the longer leaves. I can't remember what they were. It's some kind of bulb. They're growing like weeds, like out of control. The amount of growth I've got out of those in just a few days is insane. Oh, and I went down to my local lake and I found this plant and another piece of it there, and it's got a lot of new growth. That's growing super fast. I think it looks pretty cool. And then a piece of what's that called? Razor grass or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, I found those at the lake, picked them up, threw them in the tank, just figured, why not, right? What's the worst that can happen? Other than it killing everything. So I threw a, where'd he go? I just saw him. I threw this little guppy in there a few days ago, and he's doing great. And a handful of the babies from the red tiger motoguensis. What are you doing, big guy? And there's the mom. They're fat. They just ate a bunch. So here's the reason I'm making this video. So over here at the 75-gallon, I am gonna convert this into a planted tank, right? So I've got that grow light. I've had that on there for a while, and it runs those halogen bulbs, or not halogen, T5 fluorescent bulbs and a LED light bar. The LED light bar I'm actually going to remove out of this, and I'm going to get 3 cheap eBay spotlights that run at 6,500K. They're super bright, super cheap, and I like cheap. So that's how I'm going to do the conversion to a planted tank. The thing is with this tank is the whole substrate bed is just sand. So I will have to do fertilizers in this tank and root tabs because it's all just sand. but I'm going to see how I can grow plants in this. These crypts have been growing. I started with just that one, and it was about the size of that smallest one. And it's rooted out and just... Now I've got 3 of them, right? And the big one is doing pretty good. So at least I know I can grow that. I have weird growth with this Amazon sword or whatever this is. The leaves are growing with like the new growth grows in like crinkled and holes in it, and I don't know what's the deal with that is. If anybody has any idea on why this plant is growing so funky and the leaves are starting to melt, like things are going on with this plant that is beyond me. I'm new to plants, I'm new to planted tanks, so if you guys have any tips and tricks on how to make sure this thing doesn't die on me, please let me know. Other than that, I have some American flagfish in here. I have a male and a female. The female looks really beat up because she is. I got a couple... Oh, they were hiding in the corner. I don't know where they are now. I've got a couple Siamese algae eaters in here. I just bought them and threw them in today. I had 3. Now I'm already down to 2 because Lieutenant Dan, who is now in a bucket, decided they were for him. So he is going to go to my local fish store, and I already talked to them. They said they'll put him in a tank, let him heal up. His tail fin is starting to grow back, so once he gets up to full health, hopefully he'll go to a good home. Because eventually, I don't know if this fish in the bucket is a male or female, but once he colors up, he will look like one of these two, depending on whether he's male or female. The interesting thing with the red tiger motos is the females traditionally have a lot more color than the males. Can't you turn sideways? You just gotta look right at me. So that's a male, that's a female. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with everything. If you missed my last couple videos, I released the turtle. He went home. So now this tank sits empty. I need this tank. The reason I kept turtle in this tank is because it actually leaks water out of the seam right here. So as long as I don't fill it up, or right here, that's where it leaks. So as long as I don't fill it up past that point, it doesn't leak. But I have ordered more silicone. I'm going to cut the silicone out of the seams, and I'm going to reseal it and get it ready. What I want to do, because it is already rimless and I like the look of the tank overall, what I'm going to do is clean it up, get it ready, and I'm going to make this a 30-gallon planted tank. So that's my next project. And this tank actually runs the exact same filter that's in a bucket on the 10-gallon. And it kept my turtle good for, what was it, 2 years I think I had the turtle. So the filter is definitely good for this, and it's like over filtering the water for the tank. But that's okay. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. The 75 does still run the 2 Sun 304Bs. The other one's out of there right now. That's the filter for the 30-gallon. The other filter is actually in the bathtub right now because I'm in the middle of cleaning. So I'm going to clean it up, plug it back in. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with this. Let me know what you guys think, and I will go to the office. Alright, now we're looking at my 55-gallon with my Psycho Fish Vieja. This fish is doing really good. I'm about to do a water change on this. clean it up a little. But he's as crazy and aggressive as ever. He's always fun to tease and play with. This is actually one of my favorite fish. But I want to try something new. So I'm going to do the plants and some shrimp and all that stuff just to freshen up my hobby, I guess. But I love the colors of this fish. Great personality. Just an all-around fun fish to have. The guy at the store said, well, if you know if it's a male or a female, we can get a mate for it, but I just don't think it would go well, and I'm okay with this fish being alone. Like, I'm entertained enough by just being able to have him chase my hands around. I don't have to worry about him killing anything. And in a 55 gallon, I think this one fish in a 55 is about the maximum this tank could handle. I would really hate to cramp him in with anything else. If it was a 75, I might consider it a little more, but 55 gallon, one fish the size of my hand or bigger he's probably actually needs a bigger tank. But within the next year or two, we are planning on moving. I'm going to set up the 220. I want to do a planted tank with that. So at that time, I'll probably move this guy into the 75, if not buy a 150 for him. So, but yeah, let me know what you think of everything, and I will be sure to respond to any comments. Thank you. Bye.